rain stopped about 20 minutes ago. Not gradually, not with any particular announcement. Just at some point, it simply was not falling anymore. And the silence that followed, that particular silence that only exists in the first minutes after rain, was different from ordinary silence. Fuller somehow, heavier, like the whole world had exhaled at once and was now simply resting, very still, in the quiet after. I pull on my coat and step outside. The door closes behind me softly, and the cold air meets me at once, sharp and clean against my face, carrying that smell. You know the one. Rain on stone and soil and wet leaves, the smell that has no real equal, and that certain people, myself included, find one of the most quietly satisfying smells in the world. Air is a word for that smell, a real word, a scientific one, though it sounds almost poetic. Petrichor, Petrichor, petrichor. Petrichor is the name for the pleasant smell that rises from the earth after rain, especially after a dry period. It comes from oils released by plants and soil, mixing with the rain as it falls and rises again as the ground absorbs it. The word itself comes from Greek, petra, meaning stone, and ichor, the fluid said to flow through the veins of the gods. So petrichor is, in a sense, the blood of stones released by rain. You can say, the petrichor after the storm was almost overwhelming, or I love the petrichor of a summer rain. Petrichor, the earth's own, quiet perfume. I walk slowly, there is no hurry today, following the path that runs along the edge of the park, the one lined with old trees whose branches are still dripping, each drop falling from leaf to leaf to the dark path below with a small, precise sound. Drip, then silence, then drip again. The trees are doing the rain's work long after the rain itself has stopped. There is a word for the quality of the air right now, cold and sharp and deeply clean. Crisp. C-R-I-S-P. Crisp. Crisp describes air that is cool, fresh and invigorating, the kind that feels clean against your face when you breathe in, that makes you feel slightly more awake than you were a moment before. The air after rain is almost always crisp. All the warmth and heaviness that builds through a long rainy afternoon has been rinsed away, and what remains is this, cool and bright and slightly sharp, like biting into something clean and fresh. You can say, we woke to a crisp autumn morning, or the air outside was cold and crisp after the storm. Crisp, air that wakes you up simply by being breathed. The path ahead is covered in a thin layer of water, not quite deep enough to be a puddle, just a shine, the whole surface reflecting the pale sky above like a mirror laid flat on the ground. I step around the deeper parts where I can, and through the shallower ones where I cannot avoid them. The soft sound of my footsteps changed now, a little heavier, a little wetter, each step leaving a brief dark mark that fills back in slowly as the water settles again. There is a word for a surface that reflects light, bright and shining. Gleam. G-L-E-A-M. Gleam. To gleam means to shine with a soft but steady light, like metal catching sunlight or a wet road catching the sky. Everything gleams after rain. The pavement gleams. The parked cars gleam. The leaves on the low bushes along the park fence gleam, each one dark and bright at the same time, wearing its water like something it is quietly proud of. You can say the kitchen floor gleamed after she had mopped it, or his eyes gleamed with quiet excitement. Gleam, brightness, soft and steady. I pass a bench at the edge of the path, the wooden slats dark with rain, a single dry leaf plastered flat against one end, pressed there by the force of the rain and left behind when it stopped. A small piece of evidence, like so many things along this path today, that something heavy passed through here and has now moved on. There is a word for a mark or sign left behind that tells you something happened here. Trace. T-R-A-C-E. Trace. A trace is a small mark or sign that something or someone was here, evidence of a presence or event that has now passed. The rain has left its traces everywhere along this path. The dark wet stone, the bent grass, the leaf priffed flat against the bench. Even the air itself carries a trace of the storm, cool and clean and slightly heavy still, with all that water recently moved through it. You can say there was no trace of the argument by morning, or she could still trace the path they had walked together. Trace what remains when something is gone.
The park is almost completely empty. Just one figure far off across the grass, a dog walker perhaps, moving slowly through the trees on the far side, too far away to make out clearly. I am glad for the emptiness. There is a kind of quiet that is only possible when a place is nearly deserted, not just quiet in sound, but quiet in feeling, as though the space itself has been given permission to simply be what it is, without the complication of too many people moving through it. There is a word for a place that is empty or nearly empty of people. Deserted. D-E-S-E-R-T-E-D. Deserted. Deserted describes a place with very few or no people in it, often a place that would usually be busier. The park is deserted this afternoon, the rain having kept most people indoors, and now the cold having kept most of them there still. But I do not find a deserted place lonely. Not today, not in this cold, clean air, with the trees still dripping and the path still gleaming. I find it peaceful. You can say, the beach was completely deserted in winter, or we walked through deserted streets in the early morning. Deserted, a place given back to itself. I stop for a moment under a large oak tree, its canopy still thick enough to have kept a small circle of ground beneath it almost dry. I stand on that dry patch and look out at the wet path ahead, the gleaming pavement, the dripping branches, the pale grey sky beginning to lighten now at its edges, a faint silver brightening appearing somewhere far off, behind the clouds, where the sun is evidently still there, waiting patiently to be relevant again. There is a word for a thin, weak kind of light, especially on a cloudy or rainy day. Pallid. P-A-L-I-D. Pallid. Pallid describes something pale, lacking its usual brightness or color, often used to describe light, or a face, or a sky that has had all its color washed away. The light today is pallid, thin and diffuse through the cloud cover, casting no shadows, creating no contrasts, just a flat, even, slightly silver light that touches everything equally and illuminates nothing particularly. You can say, she looked pallid and tired after the long journey, or a pallid winter light filled the room. Pallid, color quietly faded. I continue along the path, my hands in my coat pockets, my breath making small clouds of warmth that disappear almost instantly in the cold air. The temperature has dropped noticeably since the rain, not severely cold, not the bone-deep cold of winter that asks you to hurry indoors, just a fresh, significant cold, the kind that makes the collar of your coat feel welcome, that makes the idea of something warm at the end of the walk feel genuinely worth looking forward to. There is a word for cold that is invigorating rather than uncomfortable, cool enough to feel fresh, but not sharp enough to be painful. Bracing. B-R-A-C-I-N-G. Bracing. Bracing describes cold or fresh air that feels energizing rather than unpleasant. A bracing wind, a bracing dip in cold water, and certainly this air after rain, cold and clean and moving slightly now as a gentle wind finds its way through the trees, is bracing in the best possible sense. It makes me feel, despite the grey sky and the empty path, entirely and quietly alive. You can say, the sea air was cold but bracing, or she found the bracing winter walk had cleared her head completely. Bracing, cold that does you good. A bird lands on the path a little way ahead, a small brown one, hopping in quick, precise movements, head tilting from side to side, inspecting the wet surface with great professional seriousness. Looking for worms, perhaps, which tend to rise to the surface after rain, pushed up by the water that has soaked into the soil. Even the birds know how to read what the rain has left behind. There is a word for a small, precise movement done with care and attention to detail. Delicate. D-E-L-I-C-A-T-E. Delicate. Delicate describes something fine, subtle and precise, done carefully to avoid causing damage or disturbance. The bird's movements are delicate, quick but careful, each hop and head tilt a small considered action. The whole scene feels delicate, actually, this quiet park after the storm, as though the world is in a fragile, careful state between one kind of weather and the next, and nothing should be rushed or disturbed unnecessarily. You can say, she handled the old photograph with ravagate care, or the spider's web was an extraordinary delicate structure. Delicate, careful, precise, and worth protecting. I round the curve of the path where it bends around the far end of the park, and here the trees open out a little, and for the first time I can see properly across the wide stretch of grass to the street beyond. The grass is extraordinarily green. Rain does this, makes every surface more itself, more saturated, more definite. The grass after rain is not just green, it is the most green it is capable of being. A colour so precise and rich that it almost seems lit from inside. There is a word for a colour or quality that is deep, strong and rich. Saturated. S-A-T-U-R-A-T-E-D. Saturated. Saturated describes a color that is at its deepest and most vivid, fully concentrated, holding nothing back. The greens of this park are deeply saturated after the rain, the kind of green you normally only see in photographs that have been edited. But this is real and unedited, just grass and rain and cold grey light, combining into something more beautiful than any of them would manage alone. You can say the painter used deeply saturated colours, or after the rain, the landscape looked rich and saturated. Saturated, colour turned up all the way. I find a dry section of low wall at the edge of the park and sit for a moment, just resting, just looking. The wind picks up slightly, moving through the still wet branches above me and sending a small shower of stored drops falling from the leaves all at once, a brief, cold, glittering scatter against my coat sleeve. I do not mind. This is what you accept when you choose to walk in the world after rain. There is a word for something accepted without complaint, simply taken as part of the experience. Endure. E-N-D-U-R-E. Endure. To endure means to experience something difficult or uncomfortable without giving up or complaining, simply continuing through it. The cold drops from the branches are easy to endure, more surprise than discomfort. But we endure much harder things too in life, and it is worth noticing that endurance is rarely glamorous, rarely dramatic. Mostly it is simply continuing to walk through whatever the weather sends until the weather changes. You can say, she endured the long wait without complaint, or some things you simply have to endure until they pass. Endure, continuing, quietly, through. I stand and continue walking. The path curves back towards the gate I came in through, and I follow it slowly, in no hurry to leave, though I am aware that the cold is becoming more insistent now, finding its way through my coat in small ways, reminding me gently that standing still in cold air after rain has a natural limit, and that warmth when I return to it will feel all the more welcome for having been away from it. There is a word for something that draws you towards it, pulling you home or back to comfort. Beckon. B-E-C-K-O-N. Beckon. To beckon means to make a gesture or signal that invites someone to come closer, or more broadly, to attract or draw someone towards something. The warmth of home beckons now, not urgently, not desperately, but with a quiet, steady pull, like the warm light in a window beckons from the end of a cold street, or the smell of something cooking beckons from the next room. A gentle invitation, not a demand. You can say, the warm cafe beckoned from across the street, or he beckoned her over with a quiet wave. Beckon, the pull of warmth from a distance. I pass a small pond at the center of the park, one I almost always walk past without giving much attention, but today it has been transformed by the rain. The surface is completely covered with expanding circles, each one the trace of a final raindrop still arriving from where it has been caught in a high branch above. Dozens of circles, overlapping, spreading, crossing, the whole surface in constant quiet motion, even though the rain itself stopped long ago. There is a word for circles that spread outward across water from a central point. Ripple. R-I-P-P-L-E. Ripple. A ripple is a small wave or circular movement spreading outward from where something touched the water's surface. The drops falling from the oak tree above create ripples in the pond below, each one a perfect circle that expands until it meets another, and then they pass through each other, the way feelings sometimes do, crossing without cancelling, each one continuing on its own path even as others move across it. You can say, she threw a stone and watched the ripples spread, or his words sent ripples through the whole room. Ripple, one small thing, spreading outward.
I stand by the pond for a few minutes, just watching the ripples. There is something almost hypnotic about the pattern, predictable enough to be soothing, but never quite the same twice, each drop landing in a slightly different place, each ripple spreading at its own pace before disappearing at the edges of the pond. I could watch this for a long time, easily, if the cold were not beginning to ask politely whether I might consider moving on. The trees around the pond are reflected in the water between the ripples, dark and slightly blurred, a watery version of themselves, bending slightly as each new circle passes through their reflection. There is a word for a reflected image, especially in water. Reflection. R-E-F-L-E-C-T-I-O-N. Reflection. Reflection has two meanings, both useful on a walk like this. As a noun, a reflection is an image seen in a mirror or in still water. The trees are reflected in the pond, their reflections dark and shifting and beautiful. But reflection also means deep, quiet thought, turning something over in your mind slowly and carefully. A walk after rain invites both kinds, the looking at reflections in wet surfaces and the quiet reflection that comes from having the world to yourself for a little while. You can say, I could see my reflection in the shop window, or after the meeting, she needed some time for reflection. Reflection, seeing clearly and thinking deeply. I leave the pond and continue on, following the path that curves through a small stand of birch trees, their white bark so bright against the dark, wet ground that they almost seem to glow. Birch trees are like this, always slightly luminous, as though they hold a little extra light inside the white of their bark, saving it for gray days when everything else has gone dark and dull. There is a word for something that seems to produce its own soft inner light. Luminous. L-U-M-I-N-O-U-S. Luminous. Luminous describes something that glows with a soft, steady light, either because light is shining on it beautifully, or because it seems almost to produce light from within. The white bark of these birch trees is luminous against the dark, wet earth. The pale sky, though gray, has its own kind of luminous quality, as though the sun, hidden behind all those clouds, is pressing its light through them slowly, as much of it as it can manage. You can say, the moon was luminous over the dark water, or her face had a luminous quality in the low light. Luminous, light finding a way through. Before I leave the park, I stop once more just inside the gate and turn back to look at the path I have walked. The gleaming pavement, the dripping trees, the deserted benches, the extraordinary saturated green of the grass against the pale sky. Everything still and clean and cold and quietly beautiful in that particular way that only exists for a short time after rain, before the world dries out and returns to its ordinary self. There is a word for a short time,
a brief and fleeting period. Transient. 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 Transient describes something that lasts only a short time, passing quickly and not remaining. This beauty, the after-rain beauty of a cold, quiet park, is transient. In an hour, the pavement will have dried, the gleam will have faded, the grass will return to its ordinary, less dramatic green, and this particular quality of the air, this exact combination of cold and clean and still, will be gone, replaced by whatever comes next in this day. You can say, the beauty of the morning frost was transient, gone by 9. Or, happiness, like most beautiful things, is transient. Transient, beautiful and brief, and worth stopping for. I want to give you a few phrases now, English for cold air, for the quiet after rain, for the particular feeling of being outside in a world that has just been washed clean. The first phrase, the world feels freshly washed, used to describe the clean, renewed feeling of the world after rain. I love stepping outside after a storm. The whole world feels freshly washed. A simple, vivid image, easy to picture, easy to feel. The second phrase, it's biting cold, used to describe cold air that feels sharp and intense, like a bite. It's not raining anymore, but it's biting cold out there. Stronger than simply cold, carrying a sense of sharpness, of the cold having real presence and personality. The third phrase, clear the air. This phrase has two meanings. Literally, rain clears the air, removing dust and pollen and making it fresh. But we also use it figuratively to mean resolving tension or misunderstanding between people. We finally talked and it really cleared the air. Both meanings carry the same feeling of something heavy being removed and what remains being cleaner, lighter, easier to breathe.
The fourth phrase, every cloud has a silver lining. An old, gentle expression meaning that even difficult situations often contain something good inside them. Today, the clouds brought rain that cleared the air, made the world gleam, filled the park with petrichor, and gave me this particular cold and beautiful walk. Every cloud, it turns out, really does have a silver lining, if you are willing to step outside and look for it. And the fifth phrase, after the storm comes the calm, used to express that difficult or turbulent periods are followed, eventually, by peace and quiet. It was a hard few weeks, but after the storm comes the calm. This phrase feels especially true, standing here at the park gate, in the cold, clean, quiet world that the storm has left behind. The words from today's walk: petrichor, crisp, gleam, trace, deserted, pallid, bracing, delicate, saturated, endure, beckon, transient, ripple, reflection, luminous, hint. Words for cold air, wet paths, and the quiet world a storm leaves behind. The phrases, the world feels freshly washed, it's biting cold, clear the air, every cloud has a silver lining, after the storm comes the calm. I step out through the park gate and back onto the street. The road here is still completely wet, the tarmac deep grey and gleaming, reflecting the pale sky in long broken strips between the tire marks of passing cars. A few people are beginning to appear now, cautiously, as though checking that the rain has truly stopped before committing to being outdoors.
collars up, hands in pockets, moving with that slightly brisk, slightly wary energy of people who have learned not to trust a break in the clouds without good evidence. I understand that caution, and yet today the sky does seem genuinely to be lifting. The pale silver brightening I noticed earlier from under the oak tree has grown slightly more definite, the cloud thinning at its edges, a small suggestion of something warmer beyond it, not yet visible, but felt, a possibility at least, a hint. There is a word for a small sign or indication that something might happen. Hint. H-I-N-T. Hint. A hint is a very small and indirect suggestion of something, not enough to be certain, but enough to notice. There is a hint of sun behind those clouds now, a hint of warmth in that thin brightening at the edge of the sky, a hint, perhaps, that the afternoon will soften the cold that this morning's rain left behind. Hints are gentle things. They do not promise, they only suggest. But sometimes a hint is all you need to decide to keep walking. You can say, "There was a hint of garlic in the sauce," or "I could see a hint of blue sky beginning to appear." Hint. Something small, pointing towards something larger. I walk the last stretch of the route slowly, in no hurry, noticing the last things the rain has left along this familiar street. A deep puddle at the base of a lamppost, perfectly circular, reflecting the lamp above it in a wobbly, softened version of itself. A line of droplets along a gate railing, each one trembling slightly in the light wind, as though deciding whether to fall. A small river of muddy water still running in the gutter, finding its way downhill with great seriousness, carrying the last of the storm away with it. There is something deeply settling about a walk like this, not exciting, not dramatic, not particularly eventful, just a person moving through a cold, wet, recently rained-on world, noticing small things, feeling the air, carrying new words, and arriving home, eventually, a little colder and a little more awake than when they set out. Wherever you are listening from today, I hope your own world after rain is beautiful. I hope the air where you are is crisp and the light is pale and clean, and that something, somewhere close to you, is gleaming the way only wet things gleam, briefly and perfectly. Take care of yourself out there. If you step out today, step slowly. Notice the traces the rain has left. Breathe in whatever petrichor your part of the world has to offer, and if it is cold where you are, let it be bracing rather than unwelcome. Let it remind you that you are here and outside and alive in a world that rain keeps washing clean. Goodbye for now. Walk slowly, notice everything, and when you are ready to come back inside, the warmth will be waiting for you, the way it always is, patient and steady, and very glad you went out at all.